Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the PG Show, where we talk about all things college football. I am your host, Preston Gant, and today I want to go over the retirement of Tate Martell, USC and Oklahoma football, and where do I think Caleb Williams is going to land. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right. So the retirement of Tate Martell. So this one is an interesting one. Tate Martell was a 5-star quarterback coming out of Bishop Gorman, which is located in Nevada. He did grow up in San Diego, but he transferred to Bishop Gorman for the majority of his high school career. He was offered a scholarship in 8th grade to the University of Washington, where he later committed, but then decommitted to go to Texas A&M University. But after Tate Martell seemed to trash the Texas A&M program and the current quarterback that was there, he soon later decommitted, and then we all know the story, recommitted to Ohio State. So his senior year, he was on the show QB1, and we kind of got to see who Tate Martell was in terms of his attitude and his charisma and the way that he went about playing the game, right? It was a turnoff for some folks, but for a lot of people, they kind of liked what this kid had about him. He was the 2016 Gatorade Player of the Year. In high school, he had passed for 113 passing touchdowns. In 3 years, he only threw 9 interceptions. He had a 60% passer completion, threw for about 7,500 yards, rushed for about 2,300, and had about 35 rushing touchdowns. The man was a stud. He balled out. Nobody can deny that. Really, again, another really highly recruit coming out of high school. And I think that's what's weird, right? You don't see a lot of the time a 5-star quarterback transfer as many times as Tate Martell did and not have any success. So he committed to Ohio State after the All-American Bowl. In 2018, JT Barrett graduated, and that quarterback room was really deep, right? So he got on the campus in 2017. He redshirted. At that time, you had JT Barrett, Joe Burrow, Dwayne Haskins, and Tate Martell. 2 of those are NFL quarterbacks now. I don't exactly remember what JT Barrett went and did, but I think he did have a stint in the NFL. So 3 of those guys ended up going to the NFL. Don't crucify me if the JT Barrett thing is wrong. I didn't look that one up. But anyways, so Barrett graduated, Burrow transferred. So it looked like in 2018, it was just going to be a straight quarterback battle between Haskins and Tate Martell. Tate Martell ended up not winning that quarterback battle. And in 2019, Haskins declared for the draft, and it looked like it was going to be open for Tate Martell to take the job. And in 2018, he had a couple stints where he looked pretty good. It looked like he was the future of Ohio State football. But ultimately, we all know the story. Justin Fields came in. He transferred to Ohio State from Georgia. He didn't like the quarterback room at Georgia. He came there. Tate Martell basically said the statement, I'm going to read this off, try to get it correct, that it would take over a year for someone to learn Ryan Day's offense. Well, not like literally after a couple days, Justin Fields transfers in. Tate Martell decides to transfer to the University of Miami, where Manny Diaz is becoming the coach. Tate Martell also had a teammate from Bishop Gorman at the University of Miami. So that was just a little bit interesting. For him to have been so confident that he was going to win that job over Justin Fields, he transferred pretty quickly after. So he goes to the University of Miami and loses the job to a guy named Jaron Williams. Gonna be honest, I have no idea who he is. Never heard of him in my life, except for this time, right, where he beats out Tate Martell. So, and this isn't even at a small school. Like, he lost at the University of Miami to a guy named Jaron Williams, who, I don't know who he is. If you know who he is, like, so he ends up not winning that job, and he eventually becomes a walk-on at UNLV. Before that, he took basically a year off from football at the University of Miami, which I think the fans knew at that point that he wasn't going to come back. So he eventually became a walk-on at UNLV as a quarterback. Again, that was a school that was 2-8. He should have won as a 5-star quarterback with the talent that he had. He should have won that starting job. And again, he failed to win it as a walk-on. Like, he should have been able to earn a scholarship, and it should have been smooth sailing from there. So he ends up becoming a receiver. So again, this is weird. This is not what I think anybody would have expected from a 5-star quarterback. And he gets to experience a lot of things that not a lot of quarterbacks get to experience, especially 5-stars. Now, yes, this year we've seen a lot of 5-star quarterbacks enter the portal. Just to name a few, you've got Jackson Dart, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, JT Daniels out of Georgia, right? But they're not transferring 3 times. I think JT Daniels, I think this will be his 3rd time. But JT Daniels, I think, has had a little bit more success. I think with Stetson Bennett coming back, that's where I think JT Daniels is probably making the right decision to transfer. With Stetson Bennett being national champion, the guy that led you to a national championship, I think you got to continue to roll with him. So, anyways, Tate Martell is actually going to be pursuing business ventures. His agent basically puts a notice out about it. So they said that's something that we're all going to be watching for. I'm going to be interested to see kind of where his career goes from here. We know his football career is done, but in terms of who Tate Martell is, that's going to be an interesting story to follow. Just because of his story. There might this could be a 30 for 30 one day. Think about that. Like, the Ohio State room at one point had JT Daniels, Dwayne Haskins, Joe Burrow, and Tate Martell. And Joe Burrow put up probably one of the best college football seasons we've ever seen. So I think that's going to be really interesting. I think we could potentially see something like that one day.